Despite being a single-player game, Dokkan Battle has had metas that have shifted over the years. Now, I'm sure most of you are familiar with how the game works, the gameplay and stuff like that, but I think what would be beneficial for some of you, especially players that are on the global side or brand new to the game, would be if I explained what the 9th anniversary meta is, why it's so important, and why everyone is recommending that you save your stones for this big point. Like, we're talking about this like it's like the rapture, right? Like, you have to be there for it at this point, you know what I mean? So I feel like it would be a good time to explain everything about the 9th anniversary's meta and why it is so good. So if you find yourself enjoying today's video and you do find it informative, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all of my content, including when the 9th anniversary drops. We got bangers coming for you when that comes. So let's go ahead and get started with the 9th anniversary meta. Now, this specific meta in the game right now is revolving around LR Beast Gohan. You know, this is the character you see in all the thumbnails. This is the character that every YouTuber on this side of the Mississippi, on the other side of the Mississippi, and all around the globe are telling you to save your stones for. This bad boy right here, the pinnacle of power in Dokkan Battle, the best unit they have ever released, technically speaking, right? This is who the meta is revolving around. And what makes this character so good? I'm glad you asked. Let's go ahead and explain that right now. Just so we're all on the same page, I have his kit pulled up now. You can see right here, we have LR Beast Gohan here on the side. And what does he do? He is the leader for the Superheroes team. I'm sure as most of you know at this point, the Superheroes team is 100% the meta. It is easy mode for the game, essentially just the boring team, but that is how good it is. I don't know why the art's not loading, but don't worry about it. We don't need it for now. You can see here, this is his leader skill. He's greatly raising his attack for 1 turn on his 12 key, and then raising his defense for 1 turn on his 12 key as well. And then on his 18 key super attack, you can see he's greatly stacking his attack by 50% each time he does it, as well as raising his defense by 30% for 4 turns. And then if we look at his 18 key super attack, he's greatly raising his attack, he's raising his defense for 4 turns, same effect. And then he's also raising allies' chance to perform a critical hit by 20% for 1 turn, and then it disables enemies' actions once. So if you guys don't know, disabling the enemy's action, whether it could be literally anything that the enemy is doing, whether it be a heal, whether it be a super attack, whether it be a normal attack, and all those different things, it gets rid of it. That's how you can tell. You can see by this icon with like the evasion with the X next to it, that's what that stands for. And then you can see activates when an ally whose name includes Piccolo, Demon King, and Majin Buu excluded, but we will talk about that later. He is on the team, so you'll see who's activating that, and these are going to be the effects for this. So here you can see his passive. If you want to read this, you can go ahead, but the big portions of this that matter are the procs that he has with Guard and the damage reduction that he has. So you can see right here for 5 turns, he has additional damage reduction of 40%, and then he has some more down here in the kit somewhere else. You can see gain an additional chance to perform a critical hit and reduce damage received by 20%, and all allies keep +2 starting from the turn in which his characters perform their 5th attack. So his passive is going to get better as the fight goes on and stuff like that. So here it is. This is going to be Beast Gohan in all of his glory. He has Guard, he has damage reduction, and he's doing a lot of things for the other team. And then the big boy, what makes this character the best unit in the game is right here, this active skill, Gohan's Confidence. Ki +24, defense +158%, and redirects all enemies' attacks to this character and performs crits for 1 turn. This is it right here. Redirects all enemies' attacks to this character. And what makes this so good is the fact that Beast Gohan is seldom taking damage from anything. And when you take all of those hits that could potentially do damage and redirect them to Beast Gohan, who's not going to take damage, that is going to protect units that are potentially susceptible to damage, is going to protect units that need to super first before they get attacked. It is going to make life a lot easier for you when you have 2 of these running around and you can choose when to use them. So that is what makes this Beast Gohan so good. The link skills are kind of whatever, right? Like, they're good. You can see his linking partners aren't like the best in the world. You know, this LR Gohan is okay, but like he's just so good that it doesn't matter, right? So that is what we're going to be talking, like that is what the meta, this unit is what the meta revolves around right now. So it is very important to know what this Beast Gohan is doing, because that is why he is so good. We need to know why he's so good in order to talk about why he's going to be so important for the meta. So that is kind of going to be the base explanation. Now I'm going to briefly run through the roles that each of these characters are going to be playing. UI Goku, his big thing is the first turn of the fight. He has guaranteed dodging, and if he has a 24 key super attack, he's going to be doing super attacks north of 14, 15, all the way up to almost 20 million with a guaranteed crit. And then any additional supers that he does are also going to be guaranteed crits. He has a revive chance after a bit, and then he is also going to be able to have guaranteed dodging after he has his revive procs if it does. And then and from every other turn aside from the first turn after revival and the first turn, he's going to have a 77% chance to dodge that goes up by 7% per dodge that he does. The Evolution Blue Vegeta card is going to be, or unit is going to be very similar in fashion, where he has guard and damage reduction in the first turn that he is there, or first turn he enters the battlefield, and then the next turn he is just going to have that damage reduction when he gets hit. He's also going to be doing supers north of 18, 19, 20 million on his 24 key that are guaranteed crits, and then additionals that are 13, 14 million that are also going to be guaranteed crits. This character has a very easy to trigger revive condition that once you have, it's not going away until you get it, and that is going to help save you on rotations. So that is going to be something that we have to keep in mind as well. I can't go over literally everything, or this video will be 4 hours long. And then we also have another one of the big boys that the meta revolves around. Beast Gohan has a taunt that redirects all the attacks to him, but he still takes those attacks. Once we go into this version of Gogeta Blue, we're going to be getting what is known as the taunt. If we pull up the details here, he has an active skill. You can't read this, but you'll get the point. What you do is you do this active skill, and that is going to provide as a taunt, but the difference between Gogetas and Beasts is Gogeta's comes a little bit later in the fight. When Beasts, all you have to do to activate it is take one hit, and then the next turn you can use it. But with this guy right here, you have to transform into Gogeta Blue, and then the next turn after you transform into Gogeta Blue, you're going to be able to use the taunt. But the difference between Beast's taunt and Gogeta's taunt is this character's taunt, you're going to be able to dodge everything, right? Every attack that comes at you, is unless the enemy nullifies dodging, you're going to be able to evade it. So the Gogeta taunt means the rotation is going to take literally 0 damage compared to the Beast one, where you'll take 200, 300 of 700,000 HP, right? So that is potentially something that you can keep in mind. Now, the next character we're going to be talking about is Orange Piccolo. Orange Piccolo is super good because of his giant form. He has guard and stuff like that at the beginning of the fight. If you're having Bond Master and Disciple allies on the team, that's what Beast Gohan and Evolution Blue Vegeta are here for. But this character right here, once you go into that giant form, it takes away the enemy's abilities to do damage to you with super attacks and stuff like that in the giant form, because you don't take damage while you're in the giant form. And that means the turn that you come out of the giant form, there's not going to be any AoE attacks, there's not going to be any super attacks, because the enemy used all of them on the giant form, therefore it did 0 damage. So that is what makes this Orange Piccolo so good. And then he also has a pretty decent heal as well as damage reduction after you reach a certain HP threshold. It's under 30%. So that is going to be something to keep in mind as well. And then, last but not least, before we get into some gameplay, we have Evolution Blue Vegeta and Kaioken Blue Goku. This is a character that can be interchanged with the LR Gammas, but unfortunately we do not have them. The LR Gammas would provide a ridiculous amount of support to some of the characters on this team. Meanwhile, this is more of a damage unit that is just doing an obscene amount of damage, doing 4 to 5 supers, all doing attack lowering and stuff like that. And then you're also going to be getting damage reduction per Rainbow Key Sphere obtained, which this unit creates on its own. So that is the team. This is all the roles that they're playing. This is essentially the easy mode team. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this easy mode team and bring it into a red zone stage to kind of give you an idea of why it is so good. Okay, so keep in mind this team can no item the hardest stages in the game, but for the sake of just explaining something for you guys, I'm not going to be doing that because, potentially I don't want to gas this team to the moon and then take an L on some nonsense. So this is the team we are going to be rocking with. We are going to be going into the Majin Buu absorb victims, essentially red zone here, where it's like Buu tanks, Buuhan, all that fun stuff. So here we go. This is what the team is going to look like. Now, what did we talk about earlier with the meta? Now, UI Goku is good for this meta because he is going to be able to go into slot 1 and hold it down, because he has guaranteed dodging. So when I throw him in the front right here, and then I grab as many key spheres as I can, it is going to get him up to his 24 key, so he is going to let out a super, super high attack stat super attack, and Evolution Blue Vegeta is also going to be doing the same thing. Now this Evolution Blue Vegeta, turn 1, has 258,000 defense with guard and damage reduction, and UI Goku has 336,000 defense with a guaranteed dodging right here. Now, Gogeta Blue, we are going to float him off, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to super because Buu-tanks decided to seal. So here you guys can see UI Goku is not going to take any damage in this portion of the fight whatsoever, and he's going to be good to go, because there's just no way. And he's also going to be getting buffs with those dodges, right? He gets extra ki, he gets extra attack, and all that fun stuff. So you can see right here a 17.7 million attack stat, I'd say is pretty good. And this Buu-tanks is very, very tanky, so it's going to give us a decent amount of time to kind of take a look and see what these characters are doing over the course of 1 turn, over the course of 2 turns, over the course of 3 turns, and then over the course of ultimately like 5 or 6 turns, right? So you can see right there, he did 2 supers, 2 crits, and then also did a normal, and now Evolution Blue Vegeta is doing a 11 million super attack, which will get higher as the fight goes on. It doesn't permanently go up, but it does raise a decent bit, right? This isn't a stacking character. So you can see we've done about half of the HP, an 11 million super attack, and 8 million super attack, very, very good numbers that, most players would be pretty impressed by, I'd say. Keep in mind, every unit on this team is Link level 10. Not all of them are Rainbow, obviously, as a lot of these characters are newer, but you can see he was getting damage reduction per hit based on that icon that popped up below the number on the left side. That indicates the damage reduction is being activated. And then we have Gogeta Blue here with Guard as well, or Super Saiyan Gogeta in this case, who also stacks defense on his super attacks. So, unfortunately right here, he decided to be a funny guy and seal Beast Gohan. But that is okay because we can still provide the point that I want to illustrate. Beast Gohan is not taking any damage in this fight whatsoever. And what he's also going to be doing, something I forgot to mention, when he takes a hit, he is giving the rotation 3 key. So I'm going to intentionally not get the 24 key right here with Piccolo just to illustrate that point and show you what it looks like in real time. And it's going to be the same thing here with this Kaioken Blue Goku and Vegeta, or Evolution Blue Vegeta. So watch right here, you can see everybody's key goes up by 3 when Beast Gohan takes this hit. And you can see he's getting buffed every time he's getting hit. You're seeing the attack symbol go up and all that fun stuff. You're seeing extra key when he's getting hit. He is getting so many buffs on these attacks. So keep that in mind. He is just getting buffed with these, but unfortunately he did not get the attack stacks from his 18 key. Now this version of Piccolo right here, he needs to take hits as well to be built up, but his defense will be at a respectable number that isn't going to save you from some of these hard-hitting supers that the enemies do. This will be a really good example. So you're going to see right here, Piccolo is probably going to take a decent bit of damage, unfortunately. So I was wrong, but yeah, there's the power of the team right there. You know what I mean? That's how good this team is. Even when I'm scared that we're going to take damage, he eats through it, he tanks it, and he looks good. So you're going to see right here, Evolution Blue Vegeta and Kaioken Blue Goku, unfortunately not getting super procs, but all these normals potentially can be supers. So that was even an unlucky rotation, and the damage was still respectable, right? So now, what I want to do again, this guy is being really funny with his sealing of Beast Gohan. So what I want to do is look at that defense, 878,000, and this is turn 3. Like, is that good, right? Like, so I think what I'll do, the meta is Beast Gohan, so we're going to keep Beast Gohan around, and then this guy has an easier revive chance than UI Goku does, so we're going to keep him around on slot 2, and these are going to be our rotations for the rest of the fight, or not even for the rest of the fight, until we can get around to getting UI Goku on rotation with Piccolo, or with Beast Gohan, right? So you can see, still buffing up, still giving key, and then if he were to do his 18 key on the last turn, he would have given crit support as well. So that would have helped out the team a decent bit. You can see getting buffed with all these hits, which is fine because they're type disadvantage, and we're not doing a lot of damage back to him because Beast Gohan has not been able to go like crazy yet. He hasn't been able to go to sicko mode, if you will. So there we go. Evolution Blue Vegeta is going to take care of business right here with an 11 million 12 key super attack, higher than most units are getting up to on global even these days. So just keep that in mind. That is the power of the 9th anniversary and why this meta is so crazy and the units are as good as they are. So now we have reached the point of the fight where things could get a little bit tricky. But we have Gogeta Blue, and it's like, this will be a really good time to show this, because this is going to be the most powerful portion of, or like the most scary portion of this fight, right? Because Gogeta Blue is type disadvantage against Buhan and Piccolo as well. I don't really trust if he were to take a super. So what do we do right here? I'm going to keep the audio, let's go ahead and do the audio for this, make sure everything is set up properly. Sometimes, I just got to make sure everything is set up right, but let's go ahead and do this really quickly, and I'm actually going to show you guys this taunt because I think it is very, very cool. Okay, so now that we've done that, you can see that little symbol on the screen displaying that all of the attacks that are coming from this to Beast, or from the attacks that are across the turn from Buhan, are all going to be going to Beast Gohan, which in turn are going to be buffing him up even more. So what do we want to do right here? We also want to transform with with Blue Gogeta, so we can also watch that as well. Okay, so now that we have Blue Gogeta in the mix, that is going to help us with damage and all that fun stuff, but we don't want to use Piccolo's transformation just yet because it is not necessary with the taunt. So keep that in mind, we are not going to be using that. Let's grab this one orb right here, because Beast obviously isn't going to need any key, and it's going to be the same thing for the rest of the rotation. So if we were to put Piccolo in slot 2, Gogeta could potentially be getting 5 ki from all of these characters being hit, because Orange Piccolo grants 2 ki when hit, and then Beast grants 3 ki when hit. So 13 million right there, and this is also going to be doing an action break on the enemy. So in turn, with all of this damage that he is doing, he's also taking away the enemy's ability to do something. In turn, that could be a super from the enemy that does a ton of damage. It could be anything, right? So keep that in mind. It is going to be important going forward. But now with this taunt on turn 2, we are going to be looking good because, or what turn are we on? Turn 4? In the second phase, excuse me. We are going to be able to kind of work around that. So boom, and now we've taken away that. You guys are kind of starting to see the point of why this team is so hard to deal with. We have so many mechanics that we can throw at you at once. And so many different things that the enemy, whether we're debuffing the enemy or buffing ourselves or diverting the attention of the enemy to somebody that he can't damage, that is what makes this so important. So boom, there we go, 4.3. The damage, you guys are kind of going to get the point, but I think it's important to do a run like this because you guys are going to understand how to use these characters when they come out. Now, I don't recommend that you use the Beast Gohan taunt right away every time. This just happens to be a unique fight where the second phase happens to be the hardest. So that is why we kind of had to work around that, right? So just keep that in mind. So it's all good, but Gogeta Blue's got to do all his supers. Yep, one more. And then we're going to be getting probably, one from Piccolo, and then we'll be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and let this turn play out, and then we'll be back when the next one comes because, spoiler alert, all he's going to do is just continue to hit Beast Gohan and not do damage. So we'll be right back. Here's the super, by the way. Yeah, nice try. This is a rare scenario where the attack spread is horrendous, but I think it could be a good example to show you guys just how powerful this team is. So we're going to risk it for the biscuit right here. What I'm going to show you is how hard, or the effects of attack lowering that this team also has. So you can see right here that Evolution Blue and Kaioken Blue Goku are in a situation where we have to get these rainbow orbs that are going to give us damage reduction, but their supers are also going to be giving us a lot of attack lowering onto Buhan. And their defense is at 178,000 and is going to raise substantially by the time the turn's over. What we could do if we wanted to play it safe right here is use the taunt, but I think this is going to exhibit a good point here. And if we end up losing, we end up losing. But I think it would be good to show you just how many times that we can lower this Buhan's attack. So that is why we're going to do what we're doing. Sometimes it is fun to show, like, even type disadvantage, this team, it laughs in the face of adversity. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen right here. Evolution Blue Vegeta is now up to 18.7 million, so you can see he is getting substantially more powerful, and this is going to be a guaranteed crit as it is 24 ki, and the linking partners are going to be good alongside Beast Gohan as well as the Blue Boys. So the Blue Boys are going to be doing a lot of damage with crits. They have a good link set with Evolution Blue Vegeta, and they're going to be doing attack lowering as well as a lot of crits. So the damage is going to be extremely high between these two. The damage output on this turn is crazy. Like, you just saw an 18 million super, an 11 million super, and then another 11 million super. That's a 40 million attack stat, essentially, that we just saw from this Evolution Blue Vegeta. And then these guys are ripping off a 12 million attack stat that's going to be lowering the attack of Buhan. So hopefully these guys decide to do their job and do like 3 to 4 supers. So that's an attack and defense lowering. There's a second one, which is going to lower his attack again and also raise the defense of Evolution Blue Vegeta and Kaioken Blue Goku. So you can see right here that this team is just getting more and more powerful. And by the way, they're also doing crits at the same time. So if they were to potentially do 5 supers here, all crits with attack lowering, there is a chance that we don't even have to worry about those hits. Now, unfortunately, it's looking like we're going to have to we're going to go to the defensive gauntlet, and we almost killed. Like, look how much damage we just did, right? And then there was no super. So there you go. That was a very, very impressive turn. Now we kind of have what we were looking for. So what do we have here? This is a unique situation where we have all types of different things. What we could do, if we were, let's just say Beast wasn't on the rotation, we could potentially do something like this. We could swipe up and do the Gogeta Blue taunt to potentially take no damage on this turn. We could put UI Goku in front and risk it for the biscuit with a 77% damage reduction chance. And if that wasn't Beast Gohan in the middle, we have 2 forms of protection to put that character in slot 2 or slot 3 to make sure that they don't take any damage. So that is why we need to kind of work around this. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to keep this rotation the way it is because of all the damage that it's putting out. And then I also want to make sure we keep that taunt around with Gogeta. So we'll grab this right here. We'll grab these to get closer to the Dokkan. I meant to do something else, but it's all good. It's all good. We're going to get closer to the Dokkan attack. You can see we have the 24 ki across the board. And then this is not going to be doing any damage to our boy Beast. 105. Good try. GG. Well played. Try again next time. But you guys can see what we are doing right here. This is the hardest portion of this fight, and we just took it down with ease and took no damage at any point. So that is the power of this team. Let's go. Now let's continue to move. We got, let's see. This is going to be a good chance to show some type advantage. with Beast Gohan, but unfortunately, Beast Gohan was locked. So what do we want to do here? We have a situation where Piccolo could potentially take a super. This is an easy situation. We swipe up, we do the taunt, and we're good to go. So now, he's not going to be able to do any damage to us. And now I think you guys kind of get the point, where it's just really hard to do anything to this team because everything that the boss is trying to do, we have a counterplay for, where it's like, if we need to outdamage them in a pinch, we can do that. If we need to potentially take away a super, we can do that. If we need to hide a character from taking hits, we can do that. Everything it's a world of possibilities with the superheroes team, and that's why this meta is so much fun, because this team just has access to every important mechanic that this game could potentially have. If you need stuns, Piccolo can do it. He's not going to be doing it very often, but he can do it. If you need sealing, I guess is where we don't really have something, but in turn, the sealing is the giant form that Piccolo has, right? Where if we need to take away a super, we have access to an ability that will do that. And that is what makes this team just so crazy, so powerful. But I think you guys kind of get the idea of what makes this team so powerful. We don't need to finish this run, I don't think, but what I'll show you is when we get to the end of the fight, I'll show you the defensive numbers, the offensive numbers, and stuff like that. But this video will go on too long if I play this whole event. So we'll go through this turn, and we'll be right back. Okay, so a perfect example of how to get around a boss. So what did the boss just do to us? They tried to put us in a situation where we cannot move a unit that needs to super first with Evolution Blue Vegeta and Kaioken Blue Goku in slot 1. So this is where we counterplay the boss. You try and do this to us, guess what? We're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to swipe up and do the taunt. Okay, so now we've taunted the boss, and now it's going to redirect the attacks to Gogeta, and we're going to be safe. So Gogeta is not going to dodge all of the attacks, and we're not going to take any damage on this turn. So what the game tried to do was screw us and put a unit that needs to super first in slot 1, and now we can work around that and do our damage, and Evolution Blue Vegeta and Kaioken Blue Goku will be 100% fine. So just wanted to show you that really quickly. We're going to do the damage on the turn, and we'll be back for real this time. Okay, so we have reached the final phase, and this is going to be Exhibit Z of why this team has everything that you would possibly need against the boss. We are in a situation here where both of our units in slot 2 and slot 3 are going to lose if they take a super attack. So what do we do to get around the super attack? We do this. Huzzah! We go into giant form with Orange Piccolo. Now, obviously, I'm not going to make you watch this whole thing, but essentially what this does, like I've mentioned earlier, is it takes away the enemy's ability to super attack once we are out of it. So now the team is going to be completely safe, no AoEs, no supers, none of that funky business, and we will be able to take care of this version of Boo. So we'll be back when that is done. Okay, so we did the Orange Piccolo mode. You can see how much damage we did based on the top of the screen. But now what we are going to be able to do is take care of any loose ends with this fight, trying to be funky, screw us essentially with a bad super that we're potentially not going to be able to deal with. So now we're able to take care of that. Most of the hits are going to Beast Gohan anyway, but there's going to be nothing to worry about, ladies and gentlemen. That is the power of the superheroes team, and that is the power of the 9th anniversary meta. Everything that you can imagine, this game is going to try and throw at you, anything that can happen. The hardest thing that this team has to deal with is AoEs coming from bosses, but everything else this team has a counterplay for. If you're wise, if you're able to take your time with it, if you're able to do all of that fun stuff, if you're able to sort of work around the boss, know where to put characters, put them in the right situations, and protect them when you need to, it is very, very hard to lose with this team. So if this run has enticed you and shown you how important it is to summon for these characters, I hope that you were able to get something from it. You can just see how crazy this team is. We didn't even need to use a lot of the active skills from some of these units, and we were still able to effortlessly no item run this stage. So like I said, I hope you now understand why it is so important to save for these characters and why we are all telling you that the 9th anniversary is so important. So if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe if you are new and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of my Dokkan content. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.